Thank you so much for coming back to Sarita Talks. I am so excited to have you today because there are just some awesome people that are out here doing some awesome things. Samuel Harris. But first, I'm wearing the TEDx shirt. So check me out on TEDx, Fostering Inclusive Communities. Are you opening doors or are you closing them? We're going to get Sam out here like that on TEDx's and all of that. Sam, you've been home 1 year,
1 year.
correct?
Yes, 1 year and
One
eight
year.
days, right? 8
How
days.
much time did you serve, Mr. Harris?
I served 24 years, 8 months, and 10 hours of a 60-year sentence.
Wow. Wow. See how they warehouse people? That's
Yeah.
a whole nother story. So, Mr. Harris, when you were coming home, were you prepared? Was there any type of help that they gave you to re-enter? Do you feel like you were accurate or adequately prepared to come out the door as far as technology, as far as job, workforce development? Tell me a little bit about your journey outside to leave and come outside the doors.
Okay. My situation was a little different because I was actually pardoned by a. I was pardoned by the governor. Thank you, Leela.
Nice,
And
nice,
my pardon was signed September the 19th, 2023, to be released September the 11th, 2025. This coming September.
nice.
However, a good time law kicked in last year, and they called me and said, "In 2 weeks, you're going home."
Wow, wow. Let me tell the audience about good time. Good
Okay.
time is you accrue it by being good, by doing the right thing. There are so many people who have that good time, and our states do not have the same type of legislation. So if you're listening, call to action right there. Call to action. Okay. Congressmen, they will answer your phone call. You can tell them things. There are people just like me who are still incarcerated because Missouri doesn't have good time. Sam, tell us more.
Okay.
So they
What
call you
happened?
up, they say
Yeah,
you're going
we're
home.
going home now. Back up on this good time. A couple years before, they slashed it and they took the good time.
Oh Lord.
So 800, a bunch of guys said they were going home. They weren't. They didn't let them go home. So now the
Now they're
budget came up
depressed.
this time and they didn't take it. So 2 weeks said, okay, you go home in 2 weeks. Luckily for me, and I think I'm a very rare individual. I went to
Yeah,
prison
we're
when I was
talking about
older.
that. Tell us.
Went to prison. I was older. I was 30 years old when I went to prison. I wasn't 17 or 18. So I was a little more mature. But
Right.
I started preparing from the day I entered prison that to go home because I had took a plea bargain. I knew I was kind of manhandled by my attorney. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm not going to accept this as the end of my life. So I started day one of preparing myself to go home. I
That's
stayed,
right.
stayed infraction and drug free the whole 25 years and basically set my resume up to go
Wow.
home. Because I figure if I only had one shot because we have no parole. I got a letter from my attorney that said, he basically said, I didn't promise you 20 years. I took a plea bargain for all that time.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was like, he gave him a little smart remark like, hey, when you turn 60, at least you have geriatric. Remember, I'm 30 years old at that time.
Oh.
So I
And
was
this
like,
is
yeah,
his lawyer.
yes.
Is this a court appointed lawyer?
Court
Is this
appointed
a public
attorney.
pretender?
Yes, court
Okay,
appointed
because let
attorney.
me tell you, this is a man, me and Sam, we're going to have to talk.
You
Okay,
got
because there's a
mhm.
lot of shows that we have just touched on right now. The fact that these people were souped up, which is, not the right term, but souped up to go home. Like I'm leaving, I'm going through the doors, and then through legislation or a slash, I'm not going home, probably
Yes.
for some years. It's ridiculous the way they treat us. And let's go back to being on trial for your life.
Hmm.
And the person who's supposed to defend you doesn't care at all about your future. And he showed Mr. Harris by writing him a little quirk because they don't understand. They don't. It's not their life. It's not their life. And there's 15 other people that they gotta not care about as well. Their caseload. All right. Now I'm sorry to interrupt. Sam,
You
pick
good.
up
You
from
good.
where you
You good.
were.
Yes. So you get the letter, and like I said, I use it as fuel to say I know what he said. My family could verify this because when he first brought the plea to me, I told him no. Talk
Yeah.
to my family. They say, look, you did what you did. 20 years, you'll be out in 17. Let's do this and get it over with. I
Yeah.
go the
Yeah.
next
Yeah.
morning and I accept the plea to be sentenced a couple of months later when I received all that time. And then I started fighting from the time I got in prison. But I also used that time to become a better person because
Me
I had no
too.
business going in at people's house that day. So I knew I had a problem. So I wanted to work on myself. And I figured I had one shot to go home. So I made the
Okay.
most of it. And again,
Well,
yeah.
Sam, we got somebody tuning in. I just want to thank you so much for hitting the show up. If you want to throw some in the comments, this man right here has got a plan. He's been jamming for the last year. So hit us up, talk to Sam, see what's going on. So, Sam, we had
Mhm.
somebody tuning in. They're just coming with us. This is Samuel Harris. I want to thank him for coming on the show. Once more, another person that served an ungodly amount of time. Could you imagine spending 20 plus years of your life incarcerated? And he came out and he's doing it, and he's doing it the right way. So, I had plenty of chances to make another choice before I ended up going to prison and catching the case that I did. I had plenty of choices. So I did become a better person. So they tell you, and you have spent this since the day you got there ready, preparing yourself to go home. Tell us about the first day home.
First day home, July the 1st, last year was a Monday. Uh, Imagine walking out. Okay, it was now. Remember, they took the good times, so until I walked out, it wasn't like real. I guess
Yeah,
even
I
that
can
morning,
understand, just because you
yeah,
don't want to get
yeah,
your hopes up.
exactly, exactly. And then that morning, we were watching guys. I watched a guy get rearrested after spending 20 some years in prison. They picked him up for child support. I'm like all the
Oh
pieces.
Lord,
My family is outside, and I don't know if I sent you the videos. I should have sent you the videos. We actually videotaped me walking out. The street separate videos of me walking out.
nice. How do we get? How does the audience get to the videos?
I would put them on my Facebook page if they want to, and I'll let
All
them see
right,
them.
tell us
I'll
about your
post it again.
Facebook. Is it Samuel Harris or?
Sam, it's just go to Facebook. It's Sam Harris.
All
Like
right.
I said, and I'll post these videos. But one of the most amazing ones is when I got my mother didn't come to me actually walking out of prison. She was at home cooking and preparing. And I think I've gotten over, I don't know, 1,000 watches on this video. When I walked in
Nice.
the house, everybody's screaming, and she started hollering, "There goes my baby!" Because you can imagine 25 years almost. And I hadn't seen my mother since I think 2018 because of the visitation policies and all that happened. So
Yeah.
now it's July 24th, 6 years I haven't hugged my mother, and
Yeah.
25 years since I hugged her. So when you see this video, you'll see. But it was that morning. It was a hard morning because until I actually walked out of the prison, it didn't seem real.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Especially after
And
seeing someone
especially
be
walking.
arrested for child support they
Yeah,
couldn't have possibly paid. They've been in prison.
exactly. Yeah, and we watched the deputy tell the guy, "Said, yeah, we're just probably going to take you to the jail and release you." And so we're sitting there, and I was because that day on last July, 800 inmates were released total across the state.
I love
And I
it.
was the first one to be released from Lawrenceville. And I actually, until I walked out, and they put us through the side gate, not the big gate. You walk
Yeah.
and to shake the officer's hand as you're walking out, and they're telling you good luck, and
Yeah.
until I got out there on that far gate and onto this little cart to get to my family. When I finally hopped off that and hugged my sister, it's like this is
I love
real.
it. I
But
love it.
those
Yeah.
those 2 weeks were the longest 2 weeks of my 24 plus years waiting to that
Mm.
day.
Yeah,
So
because you're in limbo.
yes, yes.
I'm so glad you made it home. Please tell us about Reentry and Recovery Alliance. Wow.
Okay, what happened was in prison, it was my goal. I'm a veteran also. I'm a disabled veteran. It was discovered in 2015 that I was diagnosed with PTSD from an incident that happened in 1989.
Wow.
That
Wow.
played into my drug addiction and all. And again, I'm responsible for things I did, the choices. So I sat in prison and I formulated my company. I want to open up a veteran company, and I'm going to help
Mhm.
veterans come home with some consulting. But after I got home, I saw the roadblocks of it's not just easy. I wanted to find a mentor and get behind people who were doing this before I jumped out there.
Right,
When I
right.
came home, and I hate to say this, in the criminal justice organization, I guess
Mm-hmm.
they don't play in the sandbox together. I'll put it like that.
Oh, yeah. It's hard to get
And
agencies to want to work
yes,
together.
yes, it
Is that what
is.
you're
So
saying?
yes, yes. And
Yeah.
so now imagine me coming home. My name was one of the biggest names last summer. This Republican governor, remember, they fired the whole parole board when they came in.
Oh, I did not know that. Tell us about
Yeah,
Virginia. Yeah, I did not know
yeah.
that.
Virginia's pretty rough. They fired the whole parole board. The day they came in, the parole board was fired. So you got a whole new
Mm.
parole board. I think the last I checked, 7 or 8 people have been pardoned, 6
Oh,
medicals, 2, me and another guy. One guy's sentence got cut down from like 100 years to 60. And from what I'm hearing, I don't know, that I'm the only guy that actually got pardoned to get out, like get to come home like this under this
Hmm.
administration, which again is politics. But I'm grateful. I've met the governor a few times, and I'm grateful for him. But I know
Amen.
it's politics on top of everything. But
Absolutely. But speaking of
yeah,
politics, though, let me shout out the Chrisleys, okay? Because they went to federal prison. They've been out talking. They've been talking about conditions. They've been talking about staff. So, unfortunately, I've never really watched the Chrisleys, but give
yes,
it up for the Chrisleys.
yes, I
You
see
know what
that
I'm
as well.
saying? Because
I
14 and a half years right here, 24 right there, these people came out to a platform and they didn't just talk about, what they're going to do in the future. They're
yes,
talking about what happens inside.
exactly.
So I'm really excited about what they're going to be able to get done. And
Yeah,
if they're listening, the state is worse than the Fed. So, well, I don't
exactly.
know. They say the wife didn't even have air conditioner, but the
Whoa.
state is bad. So we need help too.
Exactly, exactly, and again, I've been trying to reach out to them too because I heard about it because it's got to be a collaborative effort, and especially for people like them that had that platform, and
Hmm.
that's what made me come out. My organization is a little different. When I came out, I work with a couple. I'm like an advisor to one organization now, the Humanization Project. They work with more legislation and laws because when I was in prison, I was like, I see these guys getting out, but nobody's fighting to change these laws. So somebody else is going to fall like I did. So I wanted to get into that part. I was a law clerk in prison for 8 years.
Oh, I
Uh,
love that.
so
Bettering
yeah,
yourself and helping
exactly,
others. That's
exactly.
what we
Exactly.
do.
And I became again, I won my veteran case in prison. So now I'm trying to get these guys because we had over 300 veterans on our compound at one time, and 80 to 90% of them were suffering from mental health defects.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so when I came home, I'm like, I have to. This is my lane, but I wanted to do it different.
Hmm.
So I hadn't been home. I went back inside of prison. I think from what I'm hearing, the quickest ever. I went back in April. I went back inside the prison.
Wow.
I started a group while I was in prison called the I O More Group. We celebrated 3 year anniversary in April, and I'm
Nice.
like, we have enough groups out here, but now we need people with lived experience to come back in here to prepare these guys to come home. So when I
That's
went
right.
back on the first time I went back to speak to them, I did it totally different. I
Hmm.
remember when I was in, I had nothing against guys coming in, but I'm not a groupie. I don't want to hear
Yes.
about it's good to see you doing good. I don't want to hear about how many houses you got, how many cars you got. Help me to better my chances of getting out of here. So the first thing I
Absolutely.
did when I was invited to come back into prison, I told them, I said, look, I want you to go to about 20 guys and get questions that they have to ask me because that's never happened.
Ooh,
So
smart.
they sent me the questions, and I said, we're going to have an open dialogue. I looked at the staff. I said, we're going to talk about some things y'all may not be aware of, but I'm going to answer these guys questions. They asked questions like, Sam, what was one of the mistakes you made? And we had a dialogue. And from what I'm gathering, it's probably one of the best, like returning little dialogues they had because you have to get those guys in there involved. And I told them I wasn't afraid to tell them, look, this is what you have to be afraid of. One of the biggest fears I had when I came home July the 1st was Walmart freaked me out. It's been
Oh, there was too
25
many
years.
options.
Yes. And no, and self checkout. Are you serious?
Oh my gosh. You know what? I was scared of it too.
You know,
I
and
was
like,
so scared. Wait, and because fruits. And
yes,
I didn't know how to do it.
I
And then
know.
finally a man showed me. I'd already been out a year and
Yeah.
I was not afraid of the self-checkout anymore.
And now remember I just learned these cards. Remember when 25 years ago people want
Yeah,
cash
yeah.
in their pocket. Now I got this card, I got my money on, I got this cell
Oh
phone to keep money on.
yeah. I
And
get
Walmart isn't a Walmart. Walmart is like a mall. So I
it
got these people,
is.
and I'm like all these people, and so I went
I've
back
talked about the
inside. Yeah,
QR
yeah,
code before.
exactly.
How can you imagine? Like, I didn't understand the QR code, and I was looking for a job at this job fair, and a lot of people I felt like wanted me to have the job, and they're like, scan this QR code. So I pretended like I did
Yeah.
because I
I
didn't want to be embarrassed.
I was hacked 3 times, 3 or 4 times when I came home, and my identity was taken a couple of
Oh
times
no.
because I didn't know that you have people just want to steal information from you on your phone. I'm thinking
Absolutely.
everybody's
Oh,
nice
and
on the phone.
here's the thing. We have the best information because we've been out of society so long
Mhm,
that you can get a credit card and build credit and
mhm.
pretend like
Exactly,
that is
exactly,
you.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah. Well,
And
Sam, tell
mhm.
us about the cook-off that's
About the
coming up.
cook-off, yeah, the cook-off, like I
This in
said,
Virginia.
it's going to be in Virginia, Lawrenceville Correctional Center. We're hoping for the 15th next week, but it's going to be actually aired on WGNT, and I'll post it on my website. But what it is, on this show, Poolside Cooking, she has a world-renowned chef that cooks every week. Every Sunday comes on, he's cooking. So we had a battle inside of. We had 3 buildings. We picked the winner out of each building to battle against this chef for the actual cook-off. What we're going to show is not only their culinary skills, but it's. I wanted to go back in there and show people hope. Now, this started from me writing the host of this show, Miss Jimmy Hewitt. My niece is an R&B singer, and she brings an R&B singer up there every year, every week. And
I love
I
it.
wrote her like 9 letters. And I said, could you please get my niece on? And she got my niece on, and we kept in touch. So when I went home, she's one of the first persons that I visit. Her and her other co-host, Clarence, they have been some of my staunchest advocates to make sure. And they call me now the reentry like ambassador now.
I love that.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
we're
because
going
reentry
around.
is where it's
Yeah,
at.
it is.
I
It
saw
is.
I saw a movie about gentleman in California, and he said, "I'm coming home either way." Now, this man was already free, and he said, "Do
Mhm.
you want a good person to come home, or do you want somebody that's angry and never got any help?" And it sounds like you were in there on the ground floor doing all the helping you possibly could.
Yes, yes.
Nice. So
And
this
mhm.
cook-off is going to be on TV. I love that.
Yes, yes, yes. It's going to
Yeah,
be
and you're going to make sure we got clips to see, correct?
exactly. I'll make sure you have
Where do we go
everything.
for the
And
clips?
we're going to go. It's going to be on WGNT. I know, and I'll find out because we're going to actually post it. So I'll find out more information. I'll post it on my own Facebook, and I'll make sure we have it on maybe even on Instagram and YouTube. So
Right on.
we'll get it to you as soon as possible. It's huge. The guys, everybody's excited. It's going to be some dignitaries there, of course. But we want to show, and one of the other things that I want to show that we don't have parole here, and there is a. I don't want to put a number on it. There is a majority of guys. There are more of me in there. They're trying to do the right thing.
That's right.
They
Oh,
don't have a
absolutely.
chance. Right. So and I had a guy to ask me on a radio show. He said, "For you to have nothing like parole or nothing, what made you do the right thing?" And I had a chance to say, because I'm not defined by that mistake I made. I'm,
Amen.
you know what I mean? And if I can, and I remember when I was having my pardon interview by the investigator. Let me tell you, they claim I went to one of the worst prisons in the country.
Mm,
Steve
okay.
Harvey, the comedian, once said about this prison, said if I ever get locked up, I want to go there. The drugs,
Okay.
the women, and all this stuff. But they
Mm,
have changed this place around so much within the last couple of years. But when I was there, the investigator asked me, he goes, how did you survive here with all the stuff that go on? And I said, look, I knew inside I didn't want to do anything. And I said, I used a clip from one of Jay-Z's songs when he said, if I can make it here, I can make it anywhere. So that's
in New York,
in New
this
York. I
taste
can
will make you
exactly,
feel brand new. There's nothing you
exactly,
can't do.
exactly. And
Yes,
I
that
wanted
was
to come out, and that's what fueled me. And I know I have guys in there and who can do the same thing. And I want to be that face. And even when and I want to tell you a little story. I've got a second.
yeah.
I watch the General Assembly every year for a couple of weeks. Every January, I wanted to watch to see what bills were coming. I was a law clerk,
Okay.
so there was a senator. He wasn't the most friendliest senator when it came to criminal justice.
Mm-hmm.
And what we have to understand is we have to dialogue and talk about this. So one of my bucket list things was to meet this gentleman, to shake his hand, because I often try to find a common ground first. Our
Absolutely.
common ground that he was a veteran. So we shook, we talked. Did I leave out of there and change his mind about? No, I probably didn't, but I showed him a face that the tax dollars and everything, if you want to say you're giving us this money for rehabilitation, I think I'm the example that it works. I'm not the
That's
guy who
right.
went into prison. So, and I don't mind sitting at the table with the ones who don't agree with me,
That's right.
because, and we have
And
to
that's how
start
you
there.
really get things done.
Mhm.
You have
Yeah,
to be
yeah,
able to cross party lines,
exactly.
and you have to be able to work with people.
Exactly.
And I feel like a lot of organizations, a lot of legislations would have been very much affected by the fact that we can work together with differing
Exactly.
opinions and make something even better, like the Reentry and Recovery Alliance.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right.
And
Well, Sam,
you have to
huh?
say, and I always say this, and I'm kind of clear how I said, I'm never into shutting the prisons down. No, they were
Okay.
built for a reason. However, we know draconian laws and things can change, but at the same time, let's continue to make it better.
I feel like 20% of the population of the prison where I was in, I don't know if you agree, might needed to have been there. The
Yes,
other
yes,
80%
yes,
that
yes,
had been there for a
yes,
decade plus, 20
yes,
years, 30 years, they're not giving any problems. They'd be hard pressed to get to the mailbox, much less cause a problem.
exactly. Yeah, and I agree with that. I agree with that. That you have a remnant that causes. We got locked down one weekend when a guy escaped from another prison across the state. So that's how
Wow.
it affects us, you know.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I want to be the voice in any chance I can to say, hey, look, can you listen to, like I always say here, there's about 15% of us in there that are doing the right thing, and
Yeah.
or I say 15% that don't have an opportunity, that we don't have parole, we don't have
Yeah.
these new law like the juveniles. It's we're caught in that little zone. Can you at least
Hmm.
listen to us and just? But again, I don't mind saying, hey, go in there. It's like I always tell people, come inside and watch how we live. Watch what we're
Hmm.
doing. You have some of the most, you have geniuses up in there
Oh,
writing books.
yes.
Like,
Master's degrees,
oh,
all of that. Some of the
exactly.
smartest people I've ever met.
I've sold more of our books since I'm out because nobody knew it. We wrote a book. 10 of us wrote a book together, and everywhere I go, matter of fact, I got to order some more copies now because I got to have copies on me when I go
Yeah,
out.
to
And you know,
promote and sell. Yeah, tell what's the name of the
the
book?
book is called Remorsefulness: Speaking Out for a Change. It's 10 of us,
Okay.
basically 11, 10 of us telling our story. All the
Mm.
proceeds are going to be donated to a local Boys and Girls Club. It's on Amazon. Uh,
Okay.
but it's something that hadn't been done inside. That we actually done this from the inside. It was hard to get it published. We got kind of beaten in the head a little bit, but
Yeah.
the book is making an impact because. And I always start off with this: everybody sit at home and say, "Breaking news."
Right.
Happened. Don't people wonder what made him do that, or where is he now? And when you read it,
Yeah.
and one of the most amazing things in our book, the first chapter is a young man. He starts his book off. He wakes up. He goes around. Wakes up. He looks across the room. He's in prison with his. He's in the room with his dad in prison.
Oh
That
no.
don't grab you. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So
That and that's
imagine.
that just
Yeah.
shows that generational pain and hurt.
Yes. 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 And if you can't read that and that doesn't grab you, you'd be like, he woke up in the same cell with his dad. We have a problem somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. We have a
Somewhere.
big disconnect. That's
Yes.
another show. That's
Yeah.
another show. Sam, thank you for coming on
Mhm.
Reentry Recovery Alliance. There's going to be a cook off coming up. It's on the 15th, correct?
Yes, we scheduled for the 15th and to be aired hopefully that following weekend. Oops, I'm sorry.
No, you're
Um,
fine. To be aired hopefully the following
following
weekend.
weekend, yes.
Yes.
And then
All
again,
right. Well,
like I said,
listen, we got
I'll
two
post
more
it. Mhm.
viewers on here. Thank you so much
Okay.
for tuning in. This is Sarita Talks. Thank you, Sam, for coming in. And
Thank
we
you so
just
much.
listen. I just want to tell everybody we appreciate you. We appreciate it. Call to action. Talk to your legislator. Call to action. Check out Reentry Recovery Alliance. Call to action. Watch my TEDx. All
Exactly.
right, Sam. Anything to tell us before we go?
I'd say to embrace reentry, find out what you can about it,
Mhm.
and become involved. Uh, Maybe not just monetary helping guys, but just learn more much as you can about reentry because over 90% of the people that are locked up are going to come home. And like you
Amen.
said, we want to bring them home to a better environment, a better platform, so their success rate will increase. So I'm not telling you to move them into your house, but embrace it and learn what you can about people. And because I think we did a little survey, over 90% of people are affected by someone who's locked up, you know.
Mhm.
So just embrace it, you know, and make the world a better place because we all have made mistakes, you know,
Amen.
but we shouldn't be
That's right.
defined by that. So thank you
No,
for
we're
having
not.
me on. It's been wonderful. Okay,
All right. Well, absolutely. And you're going to come back. I've got
thank
to
you,
have you back so we can talk about some of these other things. I'm going to let the audience go. And I just want to thank you so much for coming in on.
thank you. And again, if you want to reach out and talk.